I was going to make a video that was all about gourmand perfumes for people who don't like gourmands. But I actually don't even have enough gourmands to make a video like that. I think I really only have one or two, so it doesn't really make sense for me to do that. You're probably aware that, gourmand perfumes are and have been really popular in the last little bit. And maybe 10 years ago, it was just that perfumes were sweet. But now perfumes are really mimicking some of the desserts that we eat all the time. And an example is all the pistachio perfumes that we have. And they really do smell like a pistachio croissant or pistachio filling inside something. There's hazelnut perfumes and perfumes that use a lot of really nutty notes or rice notes. And people are trying to smell like desserts or something that is edible, and they are really enjoying doing that. That's not really my thing just yet, but I have found that in the last little bit, I'm able to appreciate gourmand scents a little bit more than I was before. I did hear somewhere that the popularity of all these scents that are very, very sweet and dessert-like or inspired by desserts that we all know and have, the popularity is maybe due to all these weight loss drugs like Ozempic, and because people are not eating and not even really feeling hungry because of these drugs, maybe they are okay with smelling like a dessert, or they're leaning into that part of perfume because they're not experiencing it in other ways, and it's something that they really enjoy. So they're not eating anymore and they don't feel like eating anymore, but they do enjoy smelling like foodie scents, and now they smell like the actual snack that they can't eat and don't even want to eat anymore. So today's review is really about Chypre by Olfactive Studio, which is really the only true gourmand that I think I have in my collection. It's a very sweet perfume, and I wanted to talk about it because I do love it. This is from a brand, so Olfactive Studio launched in 2011, and it was inspired by photography and things that we see in photographs. Initially, there were just 3 perfumes that launched, and they were Auto Portrait, Chambre Noire, and Still Life. I haven't smelled any of them. I don't think I've smelled anything other than Chypre from this house. I don't remember smelling anything else. So even if I did smell it, I don't remember it at all. The perfumes are made in collaboration with other perfumers. So the person that started the brand is not the person that's making the perfumes. The other perfumers that the brand has worked with are really, really well known. So Bertrand, Duchafour, Jerome Epinette, Natalie Lorison, among many, many others. You can go on their website and they have a picture of the perfumer and the perfume that they've worked on, and like a little blurb about the perfumer and kind of what they're all about. Anique Monardo is another one that they've worked with. So they've worked with lots of really famous, well-known, iconic perfumers, and Chypre is by Bertrand Duchafour, who's one of my favorite perfumers because I really enjoy Traversée du Bosphore by L'Artisan Perfumer. And as you can see, my bottle doesn't have very much left in it, but I did buy it, I think, almost half full last year, and I've worn it quite a bit since then. This is one of my favorite cold weather perfumes, and the Bosphore is referring to a river in Turkey, and Traversée du Bosphore is a Turkish delight perfume. So it's got apple, it's got rose. The rose is really powdery, and to my mind, that kind of mimics the powder that's on top of Turkish delight. So it makes sense to me that you would make a powdery rose perfume if you were trying to make something that was like Turkish delight. Honestly, I didn't understand this perfume when I first wore it, but then I wore it I took a decant with me to a like a ski holiday, and I wore it all weekend. I totally fell in love with it. And then one day I smelled it blind. Like I had just a tiny little sample of it and I didn't realize what it was and I couldn't figure it out, but I got that it was a Chypre perfume. So it opened with like a fruit, and then it had kind of a floral middle, and then it had labdanum in it and a mossy base, and I couldn't figure out what the perfume was, and I finally realized it was Traversée du Bosphore. I was just in my mind thinking of it as a Chypre, and I couldn't remember what Chypre I would have as a sample, and it turned out to be this one. So I kind of appreciated it even more once I understood it, because then I got that he took the traditional Chypre structure and changed, you know, this fruit, floral, mossy dry down, changed the components of it, but really had that same structure, and made this perfume that smells like Turkish delight. And you know, I loved it for that, because it is kind of it's something that appeals to perfume lovers and people that really know perfume, but also just to the average person. If you want a powdery rose fruity perfume, here's your fruity floral, but completely different, and it gives you kind of that sense of travel without going anywhere, gives you your sweetness without really being a true gourmand. And you know, there's just like different points of view that you can look at this perfume with, and each one of them just makes it even more beautiful. It's like, you know, when you look at something precious like a gem or a jewel, and you see it shine from all these different angles, and you just love it from all the different angles. That's kind of how I feel about this perfume, is that I see it from different angles, and no matter what angle the light is shining from, I really, really enjoy it. So that is Traversée du Bosphore, and I didn't mean to talk so long about it, but I kind of feel like I always want to explain like why I love it so much, and every time I wear it, I just love it even more. This is Chypre Shot from Olfactive Studio, and it launched in 2018. This is part of the Sepia series, and this particular perfume is an extrait formulation rather than being an eau de parfum or eau de toilette. I think all the other ones are eau de parfum formulas. What it says on the back of the box is dark and primal, Chypre Shot boasts a powerful and original Chypre accord with a revisited accord of oakmoss amidst a playful association of notes of patchouli, peony, black pepper, and coffee. So we've gone from not saying that this is a Chypre accord or a Chypre kind of perfume and just giving it to the customer, to this brand actually saying that this is in fact a Chypre perfume and you should kind of recognize it as such, and then telling us about some of the notes that we might expect to smell. Another one of Bertrand Duchafour's perfume that I really like is Chypre Palatin by MDCI. I actually did get a bottle of it on Boxing Day, so I have a bottle coming to me. Hopefully it's here soon. But when I smelled, so I had a sample of this and I wore it all the time and I finished it. And then someone sent me a sample of Chypre Palatin and I loved that. But when I smelled that, I understood what this perfume was. So I understood it just a little bit better. And I kind of love that about, you know, smelling perfume and revisiting them and thinking about them, is that the more you smell, the more you kind of understand what you are smelling. And for me, it just helps me enjoy it just a little bit more. So this is Chypre Shot, and the shot obviously refers to, you know, a camera shot. And because this brand is inspired by photography, I completely get that. But because there is a really strong coffee and tea note in this perfume, I also think that it's referring to like a shot of coffee or a shot of really, really strong tea. And I like to think of it as that too. I mean, that would be great, except that there are other perfumes in this series. So there's an iris shot, a vanilla shot, a rose shot, And what I hear is that vanilla shot actually has some similarities to Chypre shot as well. So there's a few in the series that have shot in the name, and clearly it's about that point of view. But Chypre shot, you know, to me is really like a shot of coffee, or like Turkish coffee, which also has cardamom in it, and that blended into this like Chypre accord, which is really, really fun to wear. So I'm not going to spray this because it is an extrait formula, and extrait means that it's stronger than your regular eau de parfum. I really do think that this is definitely one of the most intense perfumes in my collection right now. I use one spray at a time, and I kind of regret getting a 100 ml bottle because it is just so strong, and I don't think I'm ever going to be able to use up 100 ml. But on their website they do have a 15 ml bottle as well. So if I were you and you've already smelled this or you've sampled it and you're thinking about buying a bottle, really consider the 15 ml, because the 100 ml I think is just too strong for someone like me who's going to be using 1 ml at a time. I do decant this into a travel spray for myself. Actually, one of the places that I like to use it is at the pool, and I wear it after I go swimming. And I kind of started doing that because I couldn't spray it inside my house, so I would spray it at the swimming pool after swimming, because in the change room there's just so much more room, and so you don't feel like suffocated by any kind of perfume or scent that's in there. So I wear this after I go swimming, and it's kind of my signature after I go swimming. I love it. It makes me so happy. The main notes are cardamom, like a green cardamom, coffee, tea, also vanilla. Yes, there is rose in this, and that rose is coming from like a peony accord, which is great. There's labdanum, there's patchouli, and there's oakmoss. And what is so interesting about this scent is that it starts off being a thick, syrupy gourmand. Like you really feel like you're wearing a syrupy coffee perfume, but the dry down is not syrupy, it's not gourmand, it is a mossy, earthy kind of dry down at the end, and that's what makes it a Chypre. So I like to think of this as a gourmand Chypre because it's using that mossy base, but it's putting all these really sweet gourmand top notes in it. It's mixing the vanilla with the labdanum to kind of make this thick, resinous, ambery mid note of perfume, and it's just really cool the way that it does that. The 100 ml, last I checked their website, is 238 euros, and the 15 ml is 68 euros. So the 15 ml is definitely more affordable and accessible than just getting a 100 ml bottle. And like I said, I wish I had just gotten that. I think I would have enjoyed it just as much, and the fact that I'm decanting it to take it with me, I would have just not have to do that, and I would just be able to just buy or take that 15 ml travel spray. So I really, really recommend doing that. Like I said, this is a gourmand perfume for people that maybe think that they don't normally like gourmands. If you were telling me that there's a really cool cardamom coffee perfume out there, I would not be interested in trying it. And the only reason I did try it is because someone sent it to me. So that person made a few recommendations. This was one of them. I loved how it smelled on paper, and then I put it on skin, and I really, really enjoyed wearing it on skin. It is so, so sweet. And like I said, you just get like this feeling of like thick syrup because it's so sweet and so concentrated, and all the notes are there and discernible, and it has this really cool layered effect where once that coffee and cardamom is gone, you get the vanilla and the labdanum, and once that's gone, you really get to enjoy the mossiness of the patchouli and the oak moss. So you can enjoy it in lots of different ways and lots of different times, and there's never a point in me wearing this where I feel like I'm just sick of it and tired of it because I've smelled too much coffee or too much cardamom. If anything, the only thing that I find challenging about this perfume is how strong it is. So the extrait is not for me. I wish it came in like a mist, like a eau de cologne format. I think that is just something that I prefer. That's just the way that I like to wear perfume. I like to have more sprays all over instead of just one spray on my wrist, but that's okay. I appreciate it for what it is, and I like the spray, you know, on my wrist, and I can smell it the whole entire day. Like I said, this has really, really great projection. It has intense sillage, like people are going to be able to smell it on you, and it's just a really fun gourmand perfume to wear. And I recommend trying it even if you don't like gourmand perfumes. You might like this one, especially if you like cardamom. So this is like one of the perfumes that I go to when I really want to wear something that has cardamom in it. So that is Chypre Shot by Olfactive Studio. Let me know if you've tried other ones by this house or maybe by this perfumer and what you think. And I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye.